Hello, this is Dr. Brett Butterfield here, and today I want to talk about the benefits of eating sourdough bread. So, in culture right now, there's this huge movement against bread and against gluten and wheat, and that it's this evil, it's this awful thing. And that's not necessarily true. We know that humans have been eating bread for thousands of years, and it's really been like the foundation of society. It's been a huge staple for humans. And so what's really changed, and there's a lot of talk about GMO and hybridization, that sort of thing. There's no such thing as GMO wheat, and wheat really hasn't changed that much. And so what has changed? Well, traditionally, wheat has been prepared, or bread has been prepared using a sourdough fermentation. In more recent years, in the last several decades, we've created a new kind of yeast, which is a quick rise yeast. Using a quick rise yeast, you can make bread in just a couple of hours. Using a sourdough yeast, it's going to take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours at least. And so what happens is a quick rise yeast, it will ferment the bread enough that you'll get that rise in the bread, and so you'll get that bread form, but that's all it's going to do. So you're still going to have all the starch and sugar and gluten that is found in the wheat. And gluten is indigestible. There's no doubt about that. It's not a good food for humans. So what's important is the preparation that we give of the food, not just the food itself. We've figured these things out. We figured out how to make wheat work for humans, and that is the process of fermentation. So instead of adding a quick rise yeast, there is a yeast that is found naturally on the wheat. So yeast is ubiquitous. It's like bacteria. There's bacteria and there's yeast everywhere. So there's this yeast that's found on the wheat, and you can take just wheat and water, and you have to grind it up and make a flour, and then use the water, and you can make a natural fermentation there. And from there, you go through the process of, I'm going to make some follow-up videos and talk about how to make a sourdough bread from that starter. And the benefits of this then is the sourdough fermentation is going to convert all the starch, all the glucose, into lactic acid. And because it's an acid, that's what makes it sour. But that's going to reduce the glycemic index of the bread, which makes it a lot healthier. And then also, it's not just the starch. This yeast is also going to eat the protein, the gluten, and therefore it's going to pre-digest the gluten for you. And so that takes the gluten factor out of the bread. And so you have a sourdough bread, and it's a very healthy product. It's been pre-digested for you by this yeast. There's really virtually no glucose or gluten found in a properly prepared sourdough culture. And then you bring those cultures inside your body. It's like a probiotic. So if you do get other wheat, then you're going to have that to help you digest any gluten that you do consume. And there's even studies that are showing that sourdough breads, now there's a proper way to do this. This isn't something you want to do without the guidance of without the help of a physician or a health practitioner. But there are really good studies that are showing that even celiac disease can be overcome through the use of sourdough breads. So this is something that's really important. I've made some killer artisan sourdough breads recently. I've got a lot of demand to make some videos on how to do a sourdough bread. So I'm going to make a series of videos that will teach you, walk you through the process of making a sourdough bread. It's one of the biggest things that you can do for your health. It is really a great food, and I'd highly recommend it. So catch my other videos here. Coming soon.